Hello guys, welcome to my class. I'm so sorry for the delay. I was actually compiling the June current affairs and I have produced it completely. Both the parts are available. So make sure you watch that if you're preparing for UPSC 2024. Now, let's move on to the practice question that I gave last time. Exercise Bharat Shakti is a firepower demonstration which is scheduled in. These were the given options. Many students have answered it correctly. The correct answer to this is Rajasthan. Exercise Bharat Shakti is actually a firepower demonstration and it has been scheduled at Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan. It will show indigenous defense equipment. It is actually going to provide synchronity between army, navy and the air forces. This will show jointness and synergy. With respect to cervical cancer, consider the following statements. The vaccine Cervavax has been jointly created by the Serum Institute of India and the Department of Biotechnology. In India, cervical cancer is the second most common cancer after breast cancer. Universal immunization program does not include HPV vaccine. So what do we have to see? How many of the statements given above is or are correct? The first statement is definitely correct. The Indian vaccine Cervavax, this is for cervical cancer, which is the second most common cancer in India after breast cancer, is provided by the Serum Institute of India and it has been created with the help of Department of Biotechnology. First is correct, second is also correct. The problem is with respect to access of this vaccine because universal immunization program doesn't include human papilloma virus vaccine. Human papilloma virus is the virus that causes cervical cancer. So how many are correct? All three will be the correct answer. Human papilloma virus vaccines can prevent cervical cancer. We have Cervavax for that. And this is a DNA virus. Sometimes UPSC can confuse us and write it as RNA virus, but this is a DNA virus. This is the fourth most common cancer among women in global scale at a global scale. In India is the second most common one. More than 3 lakh women every year die due to this. 9 out of 10 women dying of cervical cancer live in lower and middle income countries. In India, cervical cancer is the second most common cancer. The first, remember, it is breast cancer, and around 500 million above the age of 15 are at a risk of cervical cancer. The problem is accessibility. Out of pocket expenses are too much for this vaccine. Underestimation, we do not know and we do not have a proper policy on the data which is available for the women who are suffering from cervical cancer or are at a risk from cervical cancer. Also, women do not know that cervical cancer can be a thing. Mistrust in the vaccine safety. The problem is that the doctors also sometimes do not want to administer the vaccine and they are actually afraid of touching women having cervical cancer because it is caused by HPV human papilloma virus. So they are afraid that it could be, it could be communicable. Universal immunization program actually doesn't involve cervical cancer vaccine. So that's also a problem. Let's move on and talk about the other one. With respect to rhodamine B, consider the following statements. Eateries use rhodamine B to make food items look more red. As per the Food Safety Standards Act of 2011, preparation, packaging, importing, selling, and serving food items with rhodamine B in wedding ceremonies and other public events is a punishable offense. So we have to select the correct one. Actually, rhodamine B has recently been banned by Karnataka and it was already banned by the Food Safety Standards Act of 2006. Here it is written 2011. So remember it is 2006 and not 2011. So I put that in order to confuse you so that you are ready for UPSC confusions as well. Second is correct. Okay. Sorry, incorrect from that perspective. Eateries actually use it to make food appear more red, such as in gobi Manchurian. So first, and cotton candy is also there. First is correct, second is incorrect. One is going to be the correct answer. A is going to be the correct answer. Recently, Karnataka government banned the use of rhodamine B, which is a food coloring agent. It's used highly in gobi Manchurian and cotton candy. Then Tamil Nadu and Puducherry already banned it. Now Karnataka has done it too. And if somebody is going to infringe upon this ban, then they will get 7 years of life, 7 years or life imprisonment and a fine of up to rupees 10 lakh because it can cause cancer as well. It is a water soluble, that means it gets dissolved in water, synthetic compound and a fluorescent dye as well. Dye, that means it can be used in textile dyeing, paper industry, cosmetics, inks, and it is banned under the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. For red color, other things are also used such as ponsiophora, carmoisine, erythrocene. For yellow, it's tartrazine, sunset yellow, FCF. For blue, it's indigo carmine, brilliant blue, FCF. For green, it is fast green, FCF. With respect to the school soil health program, choose the incorrect statement. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development will facilitate the establishment of soil labs in these schools. Students will collect soil samples, conduct tests, and generate soil health cards. It is an initiative undertaken by the Ministry of Education. The program has been scaled up in 1,000 schools. Kendra Vidyalaya, Navodaya Vidyalaya, and Eklavya model schools have been taken under this program. The correct answer to this question actually is going to be C, because it is not directly under the Ministry of Education. Others are correct. NABARD is going to undertake the establishment of having soil labs in schools, and students will collect soil samples, conduct tests, and also thereafter also educate the farmers on what are the benefits of it. All right, so first is definitely correct, beta. Second is also correct. Third is also correct. Fourth is also correct. Third is incorrect. C is going to be the correct answer over here. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare has introduced 4 key initiatives: revamped soil health card portal and mobile application, soil lab registry with mapped geo coordinates, real time tracking of soil sample collection, lab testing, and generation of soil health cards. Thereafter, soil health cards will be available via SMS notification or when any farmer will enter their mobile number on the portal. A centralized dashboard and real time geographic information system analytics will be provided at the national, state, and district level. An app based QR code that we use for payments as well enables soil sample collection, registers plot details, and is workable in both online and offline mode. Next, we have the school soil health program. Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, in collaboration with the Department of School Education and Literacy, please remember that they have come up with the school soil health program. 20 soil labs will be set up in Kendra Vidyalayas and Navodaya Vidyalayas in rural areas so that students know about farming. 1,000 schools have been selected for that, and NABARD will establish it. Moving on, let's talk about the other program, that is Krishi Sakhi Convergence Program. It is under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, also Ministry of Rural Development. And here, soil laboratories have been established in rural Kendra and Navodaya Vidyalaya. Students and teachers are trained to participate in village development and the agriculture school sector actively, because most of the people who live in the villages are dependent on farming, and for food security we should be making schools and teachers trained for this purposes. Then we have Central Fertilizer Quality Control and Training Institutes portal. This portal, SCFQCTI, operates the Fertilizer Quality Control Portal. It provides essential information which is related to the fertilizers that we put in our crops. This initiative actually wants to enhance quality control and also ensure that fertilizers are safe for agriculture use. Consider the following statements. First statement is saying Adopt a Heritage 2.0 program is a revamped version of the earlier scheme, which was Adopt a Heritage scheme, and it was launched in 2016. The term of the appointment will be for a period of 5 years initially, which may be further extended up to 10 years under it. It emphasizes the collective responsibility of both public and private entities in safeguarding India's heritage. So, what do we have to see? How many of the statements given above is or are not correct? See, Adopt a Heritage scheme for the first time ever, it was launched in 2017, and Adopt a Heritage 2.0 program is a revamped version of it. So that makes the first statement partly correct but partly wrong. So this is going to be incorrect because here it is written 2016. The term of the appointment will be for a period of 5 years. Any entity, if it is selected to take care of any heritage, will be given a license for 5 years, and it is extendable for up to another 5 years. Remember that, not 10 years. Here it is written 10 years. In totality, it could be 10 years, but once 5 years are complete, another 5 years can be added. It emphasizes the collective responsibility of not only private entities who adopt the heritage but also public about safeguarding India's heritage for future use. So second is incorrect, first is incorrect, third is correct. As we had to select the not correct one, only two are not correct. Two only will be the correct answer. The Archaeological Survey of India has envisioned this program for the preservation of Indian cultural heritage. This is a revamped version of the earlier scheme. And here, what will happen? Private entities will be roped in to provide amenities sought for the different museums, and that will be going according to the AMASR Act of 1958. So an act is also there for it. Collective responsibility will be there for both public and private entities. Entities who will be roped in to take care of the heritage will be known as Smarak Sarthi or Sathi, and they will provide and maintain the amenities in different sectors of any cultural heritage such as hygiene, accessibility, safety, knowledge category, and the term of appointment will be for a period of 5 years initially. It can be extended for up to next 5 years, remember that. Okay, thereafter, corporate social responsibility. If any company wants to adopt a heritage as a part of its CSR, they can also do it. Okay, so this is a very good fact used for prelims. Consider the following statement. Statement 1 says submarine launched ballistic missiles can benefit from MIRVs the most. Statement 2 says an Agni 5 missile armed with MIRVs would be able to strike at least 3 different targets spread over a large area. So, what do we have to see? Choose the correct answer from the codes given below. See, first and second both are actually correct, and second is the correct explanation of statement 1. So, what will happen here? Statement 1 is correct, both the statements are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1 because it can be used from various places. Also, the submarines can use it. Also, we will know about Agni 5, which is using the MIRV missile. Do you know Agni 5's project director is a woman? She is the Missile Woman of India, Tessie Thomas, ma'am. She was aspiring to become an IAS, but thereafter she became a scientist. So this is a really good thing for every one of us. India declared the successful test of indigenously developed Agni 5 missile from the Abdul Kalam Island it took off, which was earlier known as the Wheeler Island. It was all a part of the Mission Divyastra. So remember Mission Divyastra. Multiple warheads can be launched at the same time with the help of this particular Agni 5, and it's an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. That means it can cross continents. Okay, yes, let's move forward and talk about the MIRV technology. This is actually a technology which is developed clandestinely, that means very secretively. Most people should not know about it. Pakistan is trying to develop this technology time and again, but it hasn't been able to do so. Only USA, UK, Russia, France, and China have this technology. Now, India is also a part of this particular club. What does it do? What is an MIRV technology? At one time, it can launch at least 3 warheads, and that is very good for us because from one area we can move for different regions. If I have to, if India any day has to attack China, it can do with the help of MIRV technology at 3 different places. This is the MIRV technology, and its range is at least 5,000 kilometers, which is a very big range. It can go to countries in Europe, in Africa, and even different parts of Asia. So that is really, really going to be a game changer in the entire defense scenario of Asia. Okay, MIRV actually stands for Multiple Independently Targetable Re-entry Vehicles, and it allows a single missile to carry multiple warheads. It can also carry nuclear warheads. All right, operational range will be 5,000 kilometer. For China, Dongfeng is a really good one. Dongfeng has a range of 10,000 to 12,000 kilometers. That's really big. Moving on. Agni 5 missiles, let's know about it. In 2007, India declared the development of Agni 5, and now Agni 5 has been fitted with MIRV technology. It uses 3-stage solid fuel engines. Sometimes this can also be asked. It can carry nuclear warheads. Mainly, we are wanting to challenge China through this. Okay, let's move on and talk about the other question. King Bhoj was the contemporary of Raja Raja Chola, Aibak, Gautami Putra Satkarni. None. The correct answer to this question will be Raja Raja Chola. Let's move on. The MP High Court has told the Archaeological Survey of India to please conduct a survey of the Bhojshala temple, Kamal Maula Mosque. And this is to ascertain what was the actual nature of this particular complex. Was it a temple of Saraswati Ma or Vagdevi Ma, or was it from the very beginning a mosque? This is going to be questioned here. SC rulings says that it is necessary to clarify or reveal the true essence and identity of the entire monument, whichever monument is under the maintenance of the Government of India. And this area is under the maintenance of Government of India. That is why it is constitutional as well as the statutory obligation of ASI. Archaeological Survey of India does scientific surveys. That's its obligation according to the Act, and also constitutional. Section 16 of the Monuments Act of 1958 gives ASI the power to photograph and videograph the area which it is surveying, unlock and open the locked or sealed rooms, halls, and prepare or complete inventory of each and every artifact, idol, deity, or any structure. This is situated in the Dhar district of Madhya Pradesh, and it is a monument of national importance. It is being taken care of by the Archaeological Survey of India under the Archaeological Sites and Remains Act. Okay, originally, according to the Hindu section, it was a goddess Saraswati temple. It was built by Parmar king Bhoj. Okay, also the monument retains certain slabs which have Sanskrit and Prakrit literary works. Here is Dhar for you, somebody who has not seen it. Okay, moving on. John Malcolm mentioned Dhar as well in 1822, along with building projects such as dams planned and completed by King Bhoj. Next, consider the following statements. India's dependence on arms imports from Russia is increasing. Pakistan's imports dependence for arms is the highest on China. We have to select which one is correct. The first statement is now not correct because although we have gotten the most number of arms from Russia, our dependence is decreasing. This year, we could get this year as in from 2019 to 2020-23, it has been reported by CPRI that only 36% of the arms imports by India has been done by from Russia. So that makes the first statement to be incorrect. Earlier, we were dependent like for a lot, like 50%, more than that sometimes. Pakistan's import dependence is mostly on China, and China accounts for 82% of the imports. Whatever weapons Pakistan is purchasing, it is 82% from China. So, first is not correct. Second is correct. Which one will be correct? Second only. Two only will be the correct answer. Moving on to the next one. Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, which is situated in Stockholm, Sweden. Remember that. Where is it? Sweden. Okay. India has been ranked as world's leading arms importer for the year 2019-2023. Next is Saudi Arabia. After that, we have Qatar. Thereafter, we have Ukraine. Okay. And thereafter, we have Pakistan. So these are the top five: India, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Ukraine, Pakistan. Russia has remained India's primary arms supplier. Although we are now reducing our dependence, we are 36%. Okay, so moving on next. Rupees 62 lakh crore has been allocated for the defense ministry in our fiscal year for the current one. In the interim budget, it was given. Within this allocation, 1.72 lakh crore was designated for capital expenses. That means for new equipments. Moving on. USA is the world's largest arms supplier. Second is France, and France's exports are growing by a lot percentage, 47%. Most of the countries France has exported to is India, Qatar, and Egypt. And United States registered a 17% increase in exports if we go by the year 2014-18 to 2019-2023. Five of the top 10 arms exporters, China, Germany, UK, Spain, and Israel, they are experiencing a decrease between the two 5-year periods. 5-year periods as in 2014-18, 2019-23. Europe actually contributes around one-third of the global arms exports. Next, the Union Minister inaugurated India's first Future Lab Center at CDAC, and it is being done at Thiruvananthapuram by the it will be named as Center for Semiconductor Chips and Systems for Strategic Electronics. It will be an ecosystem for next-gen chip design, manufacturing, and research. Now, this is a practice question for which I am expecting a lot of answers. All right, so I will provide the answers tomorrow, but please do answer it correctly. Cephalosporin, recently seen in the news, is an fungi, bacteria, vaccine, or an antipollutant. Let me take the names of the students who have answered my last question correctly. Pranjal has answered the last question correctly. Vaishali has answered it correctly. Then after that, Seema has answered it correctly. Shantanu has answered it correctly. Thank you so much for answering the last question correctly. Please do answer this one as well. Thank you so much. Share this with as many people as possible.